The NBA standings right now are a gigantic lie. 66% of players have gone through COVID protocol. It's hard to say the Hawks are in 10th place. They've had 16 players get COVID. It's more like the Baby Hawks. Do you know what a cat barber is? No, it's not this man. It is the actual name of a guy the Hawks had to play this year. What this means is there are teams lurking down in the standings that have not shown their true selves, that could surprise everyone with a deep playoff run. Injuries could be part of it too. In 1995, the Rockets were 29-17 at the trade deadline, so they got Clyde Drexler. The media hated that deal, and the media was actually right. Houston went 18-18 down the stretch, worse than before they got Drexler. But the playoffs started and they did something no one has ever done. They beat the Stockton-Malone Jazz in round 1 with Clyde going off for 31 points in the final game. In the finals, they were down 20 points in game 1, but Nick Anderson missed 4 straight free throws, which killed the Magic's spirit. Houston became the first 6th seed to win a title. The Rockets turned their season around, and I think this year, because of the lie that the standings are, there are 5 teams that could surprise everyone. Number 5, the Philadelphia 76ers. They're at the bottom of this list because it's looking like they won't trade Ben Simmons until the summer. But there's a solution that people aren't talking about. The season started horrible at 16-16 by Christmas. Since December 26th, though, Joel Embiid has been the MVP. They've gone 27-11 with Embiid, 3-8 without him. So why are they even on this list? Joel's teammates just aren't that good. Here's a look at all the Sixers players. Joel is carrying them. But the Sixers won't trade Ben now because they could get James Harden in the summer, which makes sense, I guess. But what I don't hear enough people talking about is the Sixers saying to Ben, we are 100% going to trade you this summer. Guaranteed. Just please come back and play out this year so it's not a waste. Also, if the rumors are true that Ben is having financial trouble, he could come back just to get checks and Philly could go on a run. Number 4, the Los Angeles Clippers. Normally when a guy tears a ligament in his elbow, he gets surgery and he's done for the year. Why have the Clippers not announced that for Paul George? That's interesting. Look at what they've done with and without Paul George. Before his injury, PG led the team in scoring in 19 of 36 games. 8 different guys have led them in scoring. They have come back from down 24 plus points 7 times. By far the most in the league. I mean, people talk about that 35-point comeback against Washington. I was more impressed by the final 10 seconds. Down by 6 points, literally the Wizards broadcasters were talking about how this is a win. Then Luke Kennard hits a playoff Dame shot. Clippers get the steal on the inbounds, and just don't foul Kennard. The worst he could do is tie the game. But Bradley Beal fouls him, dude hits the free throw, and wins the game.
Yes, sir!
The team is 6-5 since putting Amir Coffey in the starting lineup. He is a G League player who was once Mr. Basketball in the state of Minnesota when he was in high school. Then he goes undrafted. He's been in the G League the last 2 years, but he's making the most out of this opportunity. The Clippers have not ruled out PG because they know how special this team is. If Paul George does return, then Kawhi could come back and they could crash the party in the playoffs. Number 3, the Dallas Mavericks. Jason Kidd made a promise before the season that no one thought he would deliver on. And we'll get to exactly what he said, but Luka Doncic needs to be better. He came into this season out of shape again, had ankle injuries, and the Mavs started 15-17. The reason they are a threat is because of how just great Luka is at basketball. The last 6 games, he's averaged 30 points, 10 boards, and 9 assists. They're 14-4 their last 18. No one wants to play him in the postseason, but they could win a series finally because of defense.
Today's players are too talented to be guarded one-on-one. There's a trust factor that you have help. And so from day one, that's what we will preach. And you'll see us out here playing hard, but you're going to see us play defense.
The Mavs have held opponents under 50% shooting in 24 straight games. They have won 13 of 15. Kidd has transformed their D, and he's actually the smartest coach, drawing up out of timeout plays. Who knew? But there is one big problem for Dallas. Jalen Brunson and Dorian Finney-Smith are great, but they could leave in free agency this summer. The Mavs have no cap space to replace them. So if they pay those guys, they could just lock in this roster that's good, but not a contender. But if they trade them, they could ruin the chemistry. Let's say they do pull off a big trade for like a Jeremy Grant, then the Mavs could be an underdog to make the finals. Number 2, the Denver Nuggets. I am a big fan of Joel Embiid winning MVP, but this stat is hard to deny. These are the leaders in points created for themselves and their teammates. 4 of the last 5 MVPs have been number 1 in this stat, and that 5th guy was a close number 2. Embiid is 4th. Number 1, Nikola Jokic. Remember that chart about how Embiid is carrying his teammates? Yeah, Jokic is carrying his roster even more. His best teammate is Aaron Gordon. He has been amazing off the ball next to Jokic, a great passer, plays defense, not afraid to sign a poster of him standing over Russell Westbrook. But the biggest difference between the best and second best player on a team is between Jokic and Gordon. Point is, they need help. ESPN is reporting Denver expects to get Jamal Murray back before the playoffs. Last week, we even saw both guys warming up on the court. But the number 1 team is the New Orleans Pelicans. Yes, there would be no bigger surprise team to make a playoff run, and there's actually a good reason to think it could happen. They started the season 3-16, have gone 15-13 since. Herb Jones should be getting at least some Rookie of the Year buzz. According to advanced stats, he is the best wing defender in the league.
What did you think about the job that Herb did on Donovan Mitchell tonight?
I thought he was great. We have a saying, not on Herb, but for him to be a rookie, his instincts defensively and offensively, he's always in the right place. Sometimes he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt with the whistle, but that's okay. He just plays through it, and he's making it tough on people.
But Herb is not the reason New Orleans is number 1 on this list. Of course, it's Zion Williamson. Zion just posted this picture of him dribbling on his IG story. And I know some people are gonna say that I'm way overreacting, but dude hasn't posted on his IG in 6 months. This means something. Somehow the Pals are just a few games from a play-in spot. Bleacher Report tweeted, the destination most often linked with CJ McCollum has been New Orleans, who could sensibly deal Jonas Valanciunas and Josh Hart. I would hate to play that team in the play-in game or in the first round. And I hated that Andrew Wiggins got an all-star starting spot. I am sorry, Warriors fans, but there were more deserving players, especially Rudy Gobert or even Karl Anthony Towns. And he wouldn't have been a starter if the Warriors didn't pull a dirty secret in the fan vote. I made an entire video breaking that down.